live a little bit early today because of, blonde technical difficulties, but that happens. So here we are. Welcome to Any Last Words. I am your host, Joe. And tonight, my guest is Jay Saunders. I'm bringing him right now. So here we go. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
What's going on, Rockstar?
Apparently not a whole lot of
Amazing.
pre-record.
I love that. I love that intro. It is so just like perfectly, just like it just feels like an 80s cult horror film intro that you're just like riding in the back of a little car with someone right behind you, and I love it. It's perfect. Whoever did that, we'll send them cookies and Skittles and pay them more money.
We will. Some little voodoo doll cookies or something. Hey, Miguel. Hey, Anthony. Thanks, guys, for joining. Usually we go live at 8 o'clock, but I was going to do a pre-record today and then air it tonight. But for some reason, there was no record-only button on my StreamYard. We're just going to leave it at that. So, surprise, suckers. A little bit of afternoon delight. You're welcome.
She keeps you on your toes.
Right? Miguel says he'll take the cookies because Miguel actually helped me make the intro and told me where I can go get some royalty-free music that I can use. So
oh gosh, I was picturing someone just like, I was praying that you had like your own band just in the background with all just like handlebar mustaches just rocking out, and some guy.
That would be cool if I ever had a band like that. Like none of the bands I'm ever in were that cool. It was like
yeah, and a guy who's just like stuck in a obligatory werewolf costume, just stuck behind you drinking coffee. Just
I love it because I love werewolves.
There you go. Did you see Ginger Snaps?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I saw that the other week. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Did you? Yeah. I thought it was okay. I saw. Oh my god! I think wasn't that movie like over 10 or 15 years old or something? Like
yeah, I want to say early 2000s, very early 2000s. Yeah. But I just had so much fun with that. I really did. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the really old cheesy, like ridiculous, werewolf movies. Like I don't know if you've ever seen My Mom's a Werewolf.
No.
It's like it's like an old. I want to say it was probably 80s maybe. But it was like I think they really glued hair to this lady's face. So.
Actually, one of my first Halloween costumes was a werewolf. And so I was a kid, and this is what happened. So I saw in like a little book, I grew up overseas, and there was this little Halloween book on, different costumes that you can make for yourself. And I saw this kid putting on like spearmint, whatever it was. I didn't know it was spearmint. And, I was 5 years old. So I ended up just cutting my hair off, putting honey on my face, and just sticking the hair to myself. And so those are like my one of my first memories, just being covered in honey and in my hair and going to McDonald's.
So how did that work out?
Well, hey, I thought it was Billy Badass. So. Hey, but think about it now. Well, hell, bit of a dumbass.
Did McDonald's call CPS on your mom? They're like, what the hell is wrong with your child? He's like bald-headed.
It was Indonesia. They didn't have CPS. They're like, go on with your bad self. Here's a Happy Meal. Just keep moving.
So are you from Indonesia originally? Like, is that where you're born, or did you move there for a while?
So
if you don't mind me asking.
I don't mind at all. So I was born and raised there, but I'm half American, half Filipino. Crazy story. Yeah, my mom and dad, they had met in New York, then moved into Indonesia because that's just where their jobs were taking them. And I was born, and we actually fled the country in 1998 because of a huge riot that just, I said this, in one of my other podcasts that, it was like 1,700 people died in one day. And
oh my gosh.
All the expats fled the country. And they canceled school for the rest of the year. That's when I moved. I moved from like the second largest international school over to the small private school in Charlottesville, Virginia. So that was a culture shock. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you had, besides your parents, you had no real clue or idea what America or the culture was real. I mean, can I ask how old you were when you moved here?
I think I want to say about 15. I think that's
Oh,
how old it
okay.
was. But
Okay.
the thing is, like with Indonesia, like trends were coming like it felt like 10 to 20 years later.
Yeah.
So while everyone was like over here was, watching whatever you're watching in the 90s, like I'm still back there watching like Lou Ferrigno's The Hulk and Benson and Coach, and that's what we had, just constant reruns and MacGyver. So when I came over to the States, I just spent that entire summer just going to the video store and just renting every single movie that I could to just understand what, how humor was working here, what the culture was like, how kids were interacting with each other. What was it? I think AFI did one of their 100 best movies, and I just watched every single one of them, just all the way down. So I'm gonna watch all the
Wow.
classics. Yeah.
Jeez, how interesting. That is super interesting. And I can imagine what a struggle that must have been too at the same time. Like,
Yeah, I mean the culture shock, is like I
yeah.
still adjust to the culture shock now. I mean there are times when, I'm still like if I see a pedestrian crosswalk, it's still so foreign to me, the idea that cars would stop for me. So I'm still like hustling down the street because they just do not stop for you in Indonesia.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but yeah, it's it was just it was culture shock.
Okay. Did you grow up with much like horror cinema when you lived in Indonesia, or was that not really a thing? Or
There was a small video store that like every now and then they would get some films, and a lot of them were just cult films. So it was some of the first cartoons that I watched were like Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, and the cartoon version of The Hobbit and his version of Lord of the
wow.
Rings. And I think one of the first horror movies that I was able to watch was uh, what was it? Ugh, not Army of the Dead.
Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness. There we go. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. How interesting. My gosh. Yeah, because some of those cartoons that you named off, those are like really old. Those are really, really old. Like The Hobbit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's old.
So I mean that's
And
what's so amazing about just like the internet now and Amazon, that you can now just rent those things that you haven't seen in forever. So when I was able to get my hands back on Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, and my gosh, that movie just messed me up as a kid. I was like, oh, it's great. Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so cool. That is so cool. That's very interesting.
Why, thank you. I'll go with that. Interesting. Yeah.
I don't even like it about. I just it is because everybody lives a different life. You know, we all have a different journey to get to this point where we're at today. So
Absolutely.
I just
Absolutely.
think it's cool. So why I brought you here today was
Yeah,
to talk
sure.
about your action mini series on YouTube called Ithaca, which I watched all of it today because it wasn't very long. I thought I was like, oh man, I gotta watch several of these, and I was like, oh okay, this is pretty
No,
short.
yeah. You think it's gonna be like these hour and a half long Game of Thrones episodes, but no. So it's these 5 to 7 minute little chunks, and we did it that way just because, it's difficult to try, to say, okay, I'm gonna commit an hour and a half to something that I've never seen before. Not quite sure if it's going to be really, really good. But having these little 5 minute snippets it's just so perfect for the time that we're in right now. It doesn't require so much of the viewer, but once they're engaged, they're like, oh my gosh, that 5 minutes hooked me, and I want to see the next one. Okay, that 7 minutes hooked me. What can I just keep giving me more? And
Yeah.
it was a fun way to be able to structure things. It was just very efficient for us too, because, instead of saying, okay, we're going to dedicate this month or month and a half to filming a 90-minute feature, and we're going to just kind of half-ass it. It was, okay, we're going to dedicate these next several hours, however long it is, to just filming the best 5 minute story that we can for this one chapter. And it was able to pour everything you can into this small, concentrated, potent, visceral experience.
Absolutely. I wanna show them the trailer real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Before we get into more of it, because I do want to talk about it. So
Let's do this.
especially since I just watched it today and I pretty much remember everything about it currently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait a week to talk about it. Okay. So guys, this is gonna be the trailer for Ithaca. Let's see. Let me get to my share screen real quick. Where we at? Where we at? Share. And did it come up? It came up.
Let's do this. There we go.
Let's do this. Okay. Does it not have volume? Hold on. I don't think we have volume.
Yeah, very choppy.
Sorry about that. Oh, can you hear it at all over on your end or no?
No, not at all.
Okay. I was wondering why. Let's see. Let's go to share screen again. Miguel taught me how to do this. Okay, share audio. Okay, let's try this one more time. Here we go.
The thing about horror that people always mess up that this movie killed and did amazingly was the idea.
You want me to give it a shot?
Idea of visceral.
Oh, did it? Why is it freezing? We're not frozen. Why did this freeze?
I have no idea. Here, you want to see if
son of a bitch
works for me at all?
Oh, gee. There I am. Now I'm not. Okay. I don't know why it's not playing. I'm going to blame Miguel for this one, too.
God, Miguel, get your everything together.
Get your shit together, Miguel. That's funny because that's what I tell him all the time.
All right, want to see if it works on my end if I give that a shot?
If you can, I'm so sorry.
Hey, let's do this. Okay, let's see. Sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Chrome. Use Chrome if you'd like to share audio with your screen. All right, let's give this a shot.
Okay.
All right, is my screen sharing at all?
Not yet.
Can you entertain people with like sock puppets while we're figuring this out?
Oh, yeah. I think my entire thing just froze and I don't understand why. I mean, I'm using my camera and my laptop to work off of simultaneously. See what's going on in the chat, guys. How you guys doing? What's going on? See in the comments? Thank you, Murphy. He says he can't hear it either. Hey, Steven. Jesse says, I got to see this. Yeah, so as soon as... Sorry, go ahead.
If you're all on the computer right now, open up a tab. Open up the tab. Head over to YouTube. Do your ass a favor. Get over to YouTube. Type in Ithaca, the miniseries trailer.
Or actually, the link is in the description for this video that we are currently running right now. So you guys can click on that. And there's also links to his Instagram and your Facebook, I believe. But there is a direct link to the channel for Ithaca. So you guys can click on that. And I think my stuff is kind of hashing itself out right now. What? Why is this every week? I don't get this. I need help.
By golly.
Okay, so let's just talk about it anyway, because I still saw it. So I still saw it, and you still were in it. So. But yeah, so it's only it's 4 episodes long, and they're all short. I really like spoiler alerts to you guys right now, but I really like the fact that there wasn't really a lot of dialogue in it. That it was very visual.
Right.
And I heard that you didn't do it all. You did it with several cameras.
Yeah, so each chapter was just a little bit different. And you know, if you didn't know, so the whole series was done with 0 budget. It was just me and my wife and these two guys from Everything's Fire, who we absolutely adore. And for the first chapter, we used 2 Blackmagic pocket cameras because we wanted to have something that felt more like immediate and documentary style, and there's just a lot of action happening, and I wanted to be able to cut back and forth between the two as much as possible. There are a lot of flashbacks in this series too, but flashbacks that are supposed to feel just visceral, you know, supposed to feel almost like, in a way, almost like those your home videos from back in the 80s, you know, when your parents are taking video of you and the microphone is getting blown out by the wind and stuff. And we filmed that with a very, very cheap camera that takes amazing video. So that was the Canon T3i. And I just love the way it captures just this ethereal, dreamlike quality. It's just so beautiful. So a lot of those scenes were something that I shot. I shot with my, just holding in my hands. And then the last camera that we used, it was the Red Raven. Yeah, that's when we really started kind of just bumping up our game as much as we could. But the whole thing is done without a budget over the course of 6-7 years. Yeah, just me and my wife.
Wow.
And our guys from Everything's Fire.
That's insane. 6 to 7 years? That's crazy. I was going to ask too, because I know that, spoiler alerts again, because there are some flashback scenes or just some scenes period where it seems more of like it's spring or it might be fall or something, where there's, it's bright, it's sunny, there's, foliage outside. And then you have another scene where it's just, it's darker, it's snowy, it's cold. So I was kind of wondering like what the gap might have been as far as, because obviously you just, hey, we're going to go set up a studio today and make it snow. On no budget.
I know. And oh my gosh, that, trying to film that snow chapter in the fourth chapter, it took us about 4 or 5 years to actually shoot that scene. Cause just
damn, really?
Yeah, because the first time it snowed, it was okay, well, we don't have any available crew. It just kind of came out of nowhere. So for DC and Maryland and Virginia, the snow patterns are very weird. So it took me, several years to really track when it was going to snow, because there would be like one blizzard in January, and then it would just get super, super hot and warm, and everyone would say, okay, well, looks like summer's here. It's February. And then
damn.
out of nowhere, it took me several years before, there's this one blizzard that would happen on March 15th when everything was getting hot, just out of nowhere. It would just come sideswipe everyone, just blindside you. The whole week would be super, super hot. And then out of nowhere, just boom, 7 inches of snow, 12 inches. And so it was just several years before I finally nailed that, and just took the entire year to just really plan what we wanted from that shot. So there was a lot of preparation for that, and you can actually see my daughter just growing up throughout the videos too, because she's in the show. She's in our miniseries.
She is. She's so cute. Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
I know.
Yeah, and it is crazy because, like you said, like there was a time span in it, and then you basically, like you said, get to see your daughter grow up. Spoiler again, because your wife is in it. She's your wife in the movie, and in the series, and your daughter is your daughter. But your wife was very much pregnant. I mean, unless it was fake, but she looked very much pregnant.
Oh, she was pregnant. She was very, very pregnant for some of those scenes. It's amazing what she, what she was willing to do. And also it was the very first chapter that you see. She, our daughter, she wasn't even a thought in our head. She wasn't. We didn't know that we were going to have a kid. And then that summer, we found out that we were going to have little baby Jaden, and she just became part of the story. And a lot of the flashbacks that you see in there are just, Devin actually pregnant, me and Devin actually responding to Jaden kicking in her womb, Devin being out in the snow with, 7 months pregnant out in that blizzard with us. And then Jaden seeing the ocean for the very first time, like a lot of those beach shots is it's a whole new level of just recording, having your home videos and legacy just like in this miniseries. So that's, a lot of people have really been getting behind it just because they love that aspect, that it's just like, hey, this is like the boyhood of this genre. That was what, our buddy Jamie Nash had said. He was just like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's just like, it's incredible. It's like, it's just this intense kind of family film while, there's this crazy supernatural storyline that's going on there, and this horror storyline that's going on there too, with this other just beating heart that's going on in this, in our storyline.
And I honestly think because I hate movies with subtitles. I don't mind watching them if I I like watching kung fu movies and stuff, but it really bothers me if I can't see what's happening. Yeah, I want to see what's happening in the background. I want to see everything. I want to see the facial expressions, the movements. For me, it's, I don't know, I guess that's kind of weird, but
not at all. I totally hear that. For some movies, when there's just a lot on screen, you want to be able to take it in as the way the actor is delivering it. You want you want to appreciate that tone, the way he's hitting those words and the message that he's delivering. And sometimes it can be a little bit jarring having to go back and forth. So with this, there's close to zero dialogue in the whole thing. And part of it was just because, I wanted to tackle themes that were very universal in some sense, but then also very specific to just my journey as, as a husband and as a man, and the isolation being such a big part of the story. It's just, what goes on in your head, the things that you're battling with your own head. Sometimes it's difficult to put words to them. It's just this visceral sense that's just haunting through you and can just blind you. And I think that's just, I feel like those are kind of universal experiences that we can have. And I wanted to be able to portray that. So it just wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to have dialogue in this. It wasn't.
No, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was beautifully put together. I think the cinematography, the quality of everything, the fact that there wasn't any dialogue, because for me, I do like some movies that don't have dialogue, because there's no expectation of having to explain this big elaborate story, that it's like you may have some unanswered questions, but if you can put it like you have, like very well together, to where you don't have to like, okay, can somebody say something here? I don't know what's going on. You get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're watching it. Like, for me, I did like, I did have some little bit of emotions like struck with me when I'd see some of the flashback scenes, like, oh, it's like such a happy moment. Like, oh, or, oh no, like, oh, she's died and now he's gonna kill her. What the fuck? Like, how would I feel if I was in that situation? That fucking sucks. Like, Like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think it's beautiful. I think everybody needs to watch it. Like I said earlier, the link is in the description. But I do love it a lot. And I do think that some of the things you put in there, I don't know when exactly you finished filming this, but there were some things I noticed in there. Because like I said, I like to look around when I'm watching a movie. There was a part, I think it was in chapter 3, where it's outside and there's like people dead laying on the ground. There's debris everywhere. There's garbage. There's just chaos, the quiet chaos, if you will. And, there's this billboard with like all this different stuff. And then there's like a flyer that says, continue to stay quarantined or something like that. And I was like, how interesting that, like, even if it wasn't something that was recent, like, that's still something that's relevant to the now time also, that would make people go, oh, hey, wait a minute. I kind of want to know a little bit more about this now, like, because this shit that's happening, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's something that gets you thinking a little bit.
Yeah, it's it is interesting how things kind of lined up with how everything is going in 2020. But that was actually filmed, maybe three or 4 years ago. But what it was.
That was Ebola, wasn't it? I'm trying to think what was going on 3 or 4 years ago.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't swine flu, right? That was before Ebola.
No, Oh yeah, that was before Ebola.
um, one, I enjoy the hell out of apocalypse movies. I do. There's some traps that a lot of those movies fall into, and I was trying to find a subtle way to work around it. But I love being able to drop small bits and hints to the audience without having to be so on the head with what was going on. Especially with that scene where where you see some of those quarantine notices. I mean, they're only lasting for about a second here or there, and
Yeah.
when you see all of those different photos of people who are missing, people who are trying to get in touch with their family members, leaving notes, to just throw a little bit of those quarantine messages in there. You can just glance it with your eye. You don't have to know entirely like what happened. It may raise some questions, which is, it's supposed to let the imagination start going for the audience to just be like, okay, what could have this apocalyptic scenario have been? Like, what was going on? We see that something's going on. And then when those gears start turning for your head, that's when it's fun, That's the best part of, I think for horror movies, when it lets your imagination go, when you're able to just see a glimpse of something and then it just affects you 20 years down the line, that's
Absolutely.
just that's so much fun.
Are you going to leave this series as it is, or are you going to continue this series?
Oh, we're going to continue it. So this is just season 1. So
Okay.
Eduardo Sanchez, he was director of the Blair Witch Project, co-director of the Blair Witch Project, and now he's doing some of the final episodes, I think, of Supernatural. I had a chance to work with him on. Is my cat attacking back? She is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was watching a little bit.
I'm gonna pull his
I love kitty cats.
Come on, buddy. Let's get over here. Let's go, Rufio. So
Rufio.
yeah. I sent it over to him, and he really, really enjoyed it, and was like, "Dude, where is this going? What's happening? What's going on in season 2?" And I just hashed out this treatment for season 2 for the future seasons, and he enjoyed the heck out of it, and has been very, very, with all the things that he's juggling, he's been able to be like, yeah, let's just keep pushing this, keep putting that in front of people's eyes, because people need to see this, and we need to make season 2. And that's a lot of fun. That's when you have someone in your corner like that who just, who's kind of like in the same stage of life when it comes to, raising a family, and then also just like loves these moments in cinema that like really get your heart pounding. It's cool. It really says a lot about him when he's able to be like, yeah, dude, we are going to make season 2. We're going to make it happen somehow. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, Jesse said that he dipped out for a bit just to watch chapter 1. So
there you go,
thank
brother.
you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse's awesome. He's actually a film maker as well.
Nice.
So, yeah. Cool guy. Yeah. Love the hell out of him.
Yeah, if you have anything on YouTube, man, just drop it in the comment section of that chat of that episode. I'd love to see what you have, man.
Yeah, Jesse's cool people. He was on a while back, but he lives in the same town as I do. I was his bartender a couple times. He says great job, by the way. So
thanks, brother. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
So are you going to, do you have an idea about how many episodes you're going to try to achieve in season 2, or are you going to try to keep it kind of short again, or?
Well, I know right now I'm going to kill my cat. Come on, buddy. There you go. All right. Apologize about that.
No worries. I have to kick mine out before the show, because then I'll have to get up and do the same thing. Like, my camera, no. Everybody's looking at the ceiling. I'll be back. Get the hell out, cat.
He's a lot of fun. Yeah. With season 2, we're not entirely sure. The cool thing about it is the whole thing has taught me to be so incredibly flexible with how I tell the story. It's like, if I want to be able to turn this into something that's 30 minutes long, like I could. but I wanted to be able to shorten it down just for the first season, just to like these 5 to 7 minute clips. However, I may keep it as like these 5 to 7 minute acts, these chapter breaks in a 30-minute long episode. So probably several episodes, but like haven't really broken down into that same kind of story structure. Mm-hmm. But the idea of what we want to do for season 2, it's much bigger. It has much more adventure pieces in there, adventure and horror. That's just kind of like my favorite genre, just combining the two together, because I love that. I love that. And I just don't feel like we have enough of those that really combine horror and adventure together. And that's my goal. I like that genre. So I wanted to be able to work in something that I feel super, super passionate about. So yeah, we're going to make that happen. We're hoping to film episodes in Bali, Indonesia, because a lot of the mythology is from Bali. So when you're seeing, the crazy fingernail lady, that's
yeah.
She's a mythological creature from she's a demon witch in Balinese Hindu mythology. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, because I was like, is like this chick possessed? Is she a demon? Is she a spirit? Is she something he encountered? Like, is it the monster he's running for? Like, I couldn't understand. I still liked it. But I was like, what is it?
What is it? And that's the part. And that's the thing that I love, because it allows for you to just, invest more and ask those questions for yourself, and then to have that information be slowly revealed to you about what's going on. And it is
kind of fun to make up your own little story about what it might be until you get to that point. Like,
yeah.
Could this be? I mean, we know what it is now, so damn it. Spoiler again, guys.
Well,
I'm just fucking up everybody's day today. Shit.
Thanks, Joe.
Fuck.
It's also one of those things where, like I said, since I had grown up in Indonesia, and I adore the culture so much. In that the part that I grew up in Jakarta, it's mainly Muslim predominant, but when you go to say Bali, like each island has a completely different flavor. So Bali is specifically this Balinese Hindu. It's like they're just kind of their own version of Hinduism. But one of the things is, it's every single object that you touch there is just rooted in just some kind of moral battle in some way. Like there's some objects that just like are just cursed. There are some things that you just shouldn't touch. There are certain ways that you need to be able to carry water with you, and when it comes to the Kelowna, which is where where I take a lot of this mythology from, I really wanted to encourage people to kind of do some research for themselves, to dig deeper into this beautiful, beautiful island. It's known as I think the Island of 1,000 Gods. But what that character is from this mythology and this story called the Kelowna, and represents this eternal battle between good and evil, and men and women. Humanity is just kind of stuck right in the center of this battle, and there are these forces that are just fighting for your soul. And it's something that when they perform these dances, it's an acknowledgement that that there's not really a winner between good and evil. It always comes to this stalemate, but it's eternal, and that means it resonates in everyone. Now, since hundreds of years ago, that it's just constantly going, and they respect that. They cherish that. They acknowledge that these forces are in their lives, and sometimes they make themselves physically known. And it's just, I love it. So that was something where I just wanted to leave hints of it for the audience, to just be able to dive deeper and say like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Cause it's beautiful, and it's just part of something that I had grown up with. And it's been an opportunity for me to just dive further into it and see that, oh my gosh, these stories are also so very connected to another big part of influence was the Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey, and Arthurian legend, and Joseph Campbell's kind of hero of the journey of the hero. That all of these are just so tightly wrapped up together and something that's so present in us right now, and that's cool to have the opportunity to say, like, okay, I'm just going to stretch myself and dive deeper and see how this resonates with me, see how what I'm going through right now is just still deeply connected to what people have been experiencing for just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And great minds have said, we're going to find a way to just verbalize it, or, make it known, or put it into a performance. And that, we can still connect to it now. It's so cool. I love that. So
this show just got really fucking deep, but I love it. No, I love it because it is beautiful, and and everything that you're saying, it does help understand more about the movie. And it's crazy to think that it's so simplistic. You know what I mean? Like there's no dialogue in it. There's really, there's a lot of imagery in it, but there's just so much behind that imagery. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it's fun, cool.
No, I agree with you. That's the thing, that's the kind of stuff that I love. I mean, that's the beauty of motion picture. It's like, when they talk about, okay, like a picture has 1,000 words and, 1,000 stories behind it. Yeah. Well, when you start dealing with motion pictures, the fact that you can just tie these strings of images together with how you move the camera and how it can affect you in a different way, how you use a transition, how you decide to capture a story from behind someone as opposed to the front, it lets the audience start feeling all these incredible things. And I to be able to have to spend the last 6-7 years teaching myself this, learning from it. I didn't go to film school. It was, okay, I want to tell this story. I want to engage with mythology deeper and stretch myself. And, Devin, my wife, we're just like, okay, we're just going to make this happen and experience this as we go along.
Man, you guys are awesome. Yeah, just in case you guys didn't know, that's his lady in the movie. She's pretty, and she's a great actress too. So.
Yeah, she's pretty incredible. I don't know what this ridiculous cat is. All right, he's gonna cause man.
Cats and kids, man, I swear. I love cats.
So the funny thing is, so this cat and my daughter, they are so rough with each other, and they love it. It's like, it's crazy. We're, he'll attack her, she'll attack him, and they just, I'll be like, oh my gosh, Jaden, gentle, put the cat down. And just a second later, I'll go over to the cat, and he's just purring like nobody's business, and just like loves this rough play with each other. Yeah.
How funny. Is your cat like still kind of a young cat, or?
Yeah.
Is he an old cat?
I want to say maybe 8 months. That's right.
Okay, so yeah, I could see that. Okay. Like,
they
especially a boy cat, they want to play rough and stuff. So if she, they're not hurting each other, they're having fun, I guess. So
yeah, they just know this just kind of balance, like what your limit is.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you have, besides Ithaca, do you have any other projects that you're working on, or that you're contemplating on working on?
I've all right, here's a ball.
Get it, kitty.
Yeah, there you go. I've been dedicating so much to Ithaca. It's one of those things where I wasn't seeing, because I started out as an actor, and as an actor, I just wasn't seeing a lot of the when I was doing a lot of theater, I wasn't seeing the kind of shows that I wanted to be in. And then when I transitioned to film, I wasn't seeing the kind of movies that I wanted to be in. And nothing that like really told the kind of story that I wanted to. Whew. This guy right here.
I know, I'm sorry.
Can't stop him.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I could see my cat doing that if I did.
So it was something where for me, I just said, okay, well, what kind of movies do I want to see? What kind of movies do I want to be in? Well, I can pretty much put everything that I love into a project that I create. It's I'm a big proponent of anyone who carves their own path, and I love film so much that it was just like an opportunity to dive deeper into something that I love, to learn every single aspect of how to direct, how to use a camera, how to edit, how to score the music. So for those of you who don't know, I wrote, direct, edited, and scored everything for this, and Everything's Fire. The production company that worked with us, they were my DPs, Doug Henderson and Matt Neese. They were very patient with me throughout the several years that we worked on it, and said, like, dude, we love that you're persistent with this. We love that you're going to make this work somehow. And so that's why they were willing to just keep coming back to this story. And I love that. I love just being around people who are passionate about pushing themselves further with this. So it was an amazing opportunity to be able to do that. And the fact that I get to do this with my wife and my daughter, it's just even cooler. It was something where it was like I wanted the flexibility to say, hey, baby, it's magic hour right now. The sun is right where I want it. Let's go out and film this really, really quick. Let's film this flashback. So I liked being able to have that freedom. I wanted to show how much you could do without any resources, when you're limited. Every single program that we used, that I used for writing, for editing and scoring, and it was all free. This is an amazing time that we're in.
Yeah, and it's insane because I know a couple of you guys like jumped out for a second to go watch it and come back, but for those of you who've even just watched it, you wouldn't think that all of that was done off of apps and you did it yourself. I mean, even if you look at the credits are very small, very small. You don't have like a huge production crew and a studio and all this other bullshit behind you. Yeah. You did, and that's amazing. And the quality that came out on your guys' project, it's beautiful. It's amazing. That's why I was like, really? You shot it with several different cameras, and like the quality of it is great. I freaking love it. I love the structure. I love it.
Well, by golly, I'm glad you did. Yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful to finally be at this point where I can share it, because during this time as an actor, I've been turning down so many different projects because it was something where I was just like, okay, well, this doesn't get my heart pumping. This doesn't just, I need to be able to just breathe this entire story. I need to be involved in this. When I started just taking on, other projects, it was something where like, okay, well, there's another journey that I'm supposed to be doing. There's something that I'm supposed to be creating with this. This is my legacy. This represents, this has my family in there. This is just something that we wanted people to be able to notice and see that this is just the blood, sweat, and tears of just people who adore film and are willing to learn, willing to put in the time, and that it's possible for you to be able to do that. If you adore it, you want to see the kind of film that, you want to create the kind of films that you want to see, then just do it. It's worth it. It's so worth it.
Absolutely. And like you said, you did this all with like free shit. You zero budget. If that doesn't inspire more people to go out and film, just film your damn dog running around the backyard. Yeah. Like, you can do something. You are living proof of that. If you have no budget and it came out like that, come on. There's no excuse why people can't go out and make something, man. We need more creative, original content. So
this is the perfect time for it too, just because the generation that we're in, not only is equipment so accessible, but my gosh, I heard another filmmaker say this, but that, the kind of the biggest threat to filmmakers or the film industry right now is just the 7-year-old who has his own camera. just like what you're able to do with this is phenomenal. That some snot-nosed kid can film his buddies stepping on his toe and kicking him in the balls, and they can put it up on YouTube. And
I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Yeah, exactly. But like, and then people like, especially during this time where like studios are just kind of halted, where productions are, it's difficult to put things out. I haven't had a chance to see The Tenant yet. And I can't wait to see that Christopher Nolan film just on the big screen. But to know that like, even during this time that people are just hesitant to be able to be in the movie theater, to be able to catch something that's this amazing spectacle, that we're all here just on our, just on our phones, on our computers, and our TV, just streaming things. That this really is a great time for people who are interested in film, who love horror, who love adventure, who want to understand how to tell these stories, that you have it in your hand to be able to look through this camera and tell whatever story that you want from your perspective. That is just fucking cool,
I know. Still waiting for my fucking jetpack. We got all this fucking technology. We're still not a cure for cancer or a jetpack.
Come on. I just wanted the floating, levitating shoes. That was it.
Something. So it is insane. It's insane to think of where we've come from and how quickly it feels like it came so fast. Just the way technology just evolved.
Yeah.
So,
and also kind of the fun thing about like working with no budget, like a lot of it was coming down to thinking about how do we do practical effects as much as possible.
Oh.
And that's when you get to kind of dive deeper into just like the fun movies from the 80s.
Yes.
I love The Thing. That's one of my favorite movies. And, and Aliens, and just figure out like, oh my gosh, how they created this horrific ambiance, this suspense, just with tangible items. Like that's so cool. It's so innovative. It's wonderful to dive into that, to figure out, hey, how do I make my own fake blood? How do
I make my guts explode?
Yeah.
I need toilet paper tubes, 3 packs of Bubblicious gum.
I know.
We're gonna MacGyver this shit today and make it work.
Oh my God, I was gonna say the exact same thing. We're just gonna MacGyver the fuck out of this.
Exactly.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that they were able to do that. I think practical effects are just so much fun in horror.
They are. They are. I really don't care for CGI unless it is a necessity.
Yeah.
Don't overrun your shit like that. What was that stupid ass Freddy Krueger movie? Sorry, Freddy. But that one where they had the different guy come in and play, and it was like all CGI and shit, like all his burns and all that. And it was like,
gosh,
this is stupid. This is so stupid. I don't even watch this. Like, I can't even remember what the name of that Nightmare on Elm Street film, because I don't like it that much.
Yeah, and actually one thing I thought was so interesting was, for one, I just adore movies from the 70s and the 80s. And the something that I really like is actually the graininess quality to it. For me, I'm not a big fan when everything looks so pristine or like heavily color graded, because it feels like you're already putting this, other technology filter on it. One of the things I just love about, say The Exorcist, just the ambiance that they're able to create in that room. Yeah, they went to some like extreme lengths to be able to make those scenes, but just like that room, and it's just this, the way they lit it, this cold bluish room. It just, I watched that again the other day, and it's so haunting, and it's so just brilliantly made.
It's a gnarly ass movie, dude.
Yeah. We also watched Exorcist 3 right after that too. I'd never seen that one.
I've never seen the third one either.
Oh, watch that third one.
Yeah?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I can't explain to you like how awesome that movie is. It really is. And one of the cool things about it is, so I actually work over at Georgetown University, so I get to drive by the Exorcist steps all the time. I work over at the, I work right beside it, so it's just so fun to be able to watch this film and be like, oh my gosh, wait, I run around those same tracks that that Father Karras did. So it's
That's
just
so cool.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! I wish we had something cool like that here. We don't. We got the Padre Hotel, and I mean, it's cool, but there ain't nothing happening there. So
You're saying this, and you're an hour and a half away from LA.
yeah, but LA's crazy right now. I don't want to go to LA. There's crazy people there.
The first time I went to LA a couple years ago, I thought it was going to be super, super busy, but it was just a dead town. It was a ghost.
Sometimes it's kind of dead. Sometimes it depends on the time of year, the day, what's going on. Because usually people are leaving to go somewhere else and get the hell out of LA. But because of everything that's going on right now, you do want to go there. So if you can avoid it, don't go there.
Yeah, I just remember, like, I think it was in October, but I was even walking through Warner Brothers studio. I was meeting up with a buddy over there, and just no one in the studios. Nothing was being filmed, and he was like, "Well, you want to like play around with Batman's suit?" I was like, "Yeah, dude."
Yes.
He's taking me all over the place, and I didn't see a single other person there. And just even when I was outside the studios and walking around, it was very bizarre. It was a very bizarre time there. Yeah.
Okay. It's just a weird place, period. So, I love it to death, but I could never live there. Jeez Louise, no thank you.
Yeah.
It's too busy for me, too much going on. I'm good.
I'll
go crawl back in my armpit of California, such as Bakersfield. I'll go suffocate in my hole in Bakersfield. So,
right. That's my little hobbit hole.
Don't judge my life. We still get pumpkin spice. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna get into the end of the show here. I saved the music video because it is Music Monday. I saved the music video for the end this time instead of in the middle because I didn't want to, mess up our really awesome conversation, and just in case it didn't work, again too, and just feel like, well, shit. So I just saved it for the end. So you guys, in the description, like I said, you can find the links for the Instagram, Facebook, and their direct link, the direct link to the channel for Ithaca. So if you weren't one of the naughty little boys and girls who left earlier, it's okay, I forgive you guys. Go check it out. It's really well put together. I am super excited to hear that you're going to have a second season. I really want to see where you're going to go with this. I'm just super excited. So, and I'm definitely, when you start getting stuff for that coming out, even if it's just one episode, please send it my way. I'd be happy to share it and, refresh people. Hey, remember the Ithaca guy?
Yeah. Hey, and anyone else who's watching, once you go, the entire season 1, it's 4 chapters. It's all in the playlist section. So you'll see it there. Just go to playlist. And if you're interested, the rest of the videos are all about how we made it. We just released another video of me talking with Eduardo Sanchez, who's now our executive producer, and Jamie Nash, who wrote Lovely Molly, as well as if you've seen VHS 2, Ed and Jamie, they wrote the zombie with the GoPro sequence, which is, I play the zombie with the GoPro, and that's actually how we all, how I met them. So we talk about we talk about the future of Ithaca and how it was made and kind of his, point of view of it. And it was a cool discussion. So it's all on that YouTube channel.
Again, I am excited to see what happens with the second season.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to play this music video here in a second. I want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit about your life and your project and what you guys, because it's you and your wife and the baby, what you guys got coming up. I'm super excited and happy for you guys. I can't wait to see what's going on. Do you have any last words for the viewers?
We'll see you guys in the arena. Come check out the Ithaca. You're going to have a freaking blast with it. And, if you enjoy it, leave a comment. If you enjoy it, please share. We're trying to put it in front of as many eyes as possible. And every time someone subscribes, that just helps us get closer to making season 2. So, I thank you, Joe, for having me on. And everyone who's watching right now, just thank you for being able to take the time to take a look at this. It's awesome. Thank you.
It is. Thank you again. Yeah. You're a great guest. You know that?
Why, thank you. Thank you. I work out, as you can see, with these rugged abs. So, yeah.
I condition daily. You very much remind me of my friend. I'm sorry. You very much remind me of my friend Greg, and just the way you talk and everything. Yeah, I'll tell you more about it later, but you do. You remind me of my friend Greg. I was like, you know what? This is going to be a fun show. I can do this already.
Yes.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. Thank you again so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I really do hope to have you on again later on in the future for Ithaca season 2. Or if you have anything else that comes out in between, I'd love to have you on again. You and Rufio back there.
Yeah.
Get your lady on here.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Rufio.
Now on the internet.
Okay, guys. We're going to let Jay go. Again, thank you for coming on. We're going to let Jay go, and then we're going to get to that music video if it'll work. If not, I got to tell you about some other shit anyway. So, all right. Thank you, Jay, so much. I'll see you later on, sir. Bye. That was great. I like that. I enjoyed that. You guys, again, make sure you guys go check out Ithaca. Check out the links. You won't be disappointed. I promise. And since I saved it for the end, I hope to God this works. Please, 9 pound, 4 ounce, healthy baby Jesus, let this work. This band is called Anhedona. I think I pronounced it right. I'm horrible. Anyway, Anhedona. Their link is in the description for their video as well. Also with their social media links. And let's see if it works. All right, that was Anhedona. Make sure you guys check out the links for them in the description below. That's a pretty badass song. I like the video a lot. Just bobbing my head a little bit. But yeah, real quick before I wrap this up completely, thank you to my guest Jay for being on, and thank you to RJ for sending me your guys' music video. Really appreciate it, and thank you to guys for joining me. You guys stay tuned. I'm gonna have a lot more Twitch and YouTube videos coming out soon. A lot of DIY for horror crafts, foods, props. I do a lot of shit when I'm bored or when I'm in making movies or doing whatever. So I thought I maybe make some more content with that. So thank you guys so much again for joining. I really appreciate it. And thanks for joining so early in the day. I will be back Wednesday for the normal show. Other than that, you guys can catch me the rest of the week on Twitch and YouTube, everywhere else, jumping around. Love you guys. See you guys next time.